did against you, try to reverse sweep. I think you want to build on that lead steadily. We're entering the land of Dawn for game number 2, possible match point in the air for the EVOS fams in the building. The Tigers, they're seeing blood.
Let's see, ladies and gentlemen, land of Dawn, here we go. Will EVOS double their lead right here, or perhaps we might head on towards a game 3 with a 1-1. Let's see and witness it together.
Man. Erlan back on the Harith, Hayabusa still. The 2 cores are still there, but at least Shogun gets a bit more pressure this time around. Albert's gonna be careful there. He still is able to get it with the red tree. Shogun's gonna die, right?
I think this is gonna be a first blood here for Albert, no? Ooh. Off the region.
He buys so much time.
Yeah, take a look at Gatot Gacha though, right? Doing work to deny that farm, and Suelo will pick up first blood. That's a knock-up though, key doing work here in 1v3. Finally, will be punished. But that's an EXP for Rome.
You delay the purple buff take by a bit. Niall's waiting here. So he really wants to go on Albert, but do they have enough resources mid-prio? They got that. The green camp seems like will be the only take for Niall. Unless.
So far, so good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tenacity on 3, by the way. Emblems by Games Max here. Shogun, Moreno, and Finn. Now, is that too safe? You like that, Finn? Doing a good job in the mid lane. But EVOS got the prio. They'll rotate up top. Shogun. Did he miss? How many minutes did he miss is the question. Or did it doesn't look like he missed too much.
All right. So the advantage here is okay, at least, right? Even with the green camp take, I think Albert has some other compensation, especially later on. I'm on good take on that gold crab.
Finn?
Ooh. Spotted out there. Turtle is up though. That's gonna be the stun low and order. Key knocked up. That's gonna be Key trying to hold on. Sway low! Caught there. And that's gonna be Niall picking up first kill. Second kill rather. That's gonna be the Turtle is Turtle up as well. So I don't think EVOS can contest here.
Yeah, good zoning by BTR this time around. Good pick up by Moreno. Really just putting the pressure on the ally so that he can't go for those big throne of ruins. Even Iman showing up, by the way. Rotating over after clearing the wave. Erlan will be able to soak in this mid wave. So far, so good. But the thing is, for BTR, it's always been the case. They've always done really well early game. Even last game. This time, Niall has the better red tree. Or he was technically a level ahead already. Now he's 2. Early kill. It was a kill on Sway Low, a guy who's been very vulnerable in the last 2 games. And this time he's on a extremely vulnerable pick. We saw how easy it was for BTR to delete him just earlier with just a small misstep, by the way. Walking up, Moreno saw it, picked him up, and it was an instant mountain shocker. 1K gold lead into Turtle number 2 is massive, especially if Shogun gets these big trades over to Rendy, wins it out constantly, and rotates further to zone Albert. Look at this. Like, Shogun is winning in this matchup so far, right? And despite the kill, we have to take into account that Shogun died early.
Yeah, he's doing all right there. And looking at the rotations, right? 3 members around the bottom side of the map for Bigatron. They're looking for something here. Maybe Pops looking for a spell trigger or 2. As they will try to claim the river. That's going to be key though. Taking a lot of heat. That's AOG. That's what they want here. They got it.
Oh, they want to go for the gank in the bottom lane. No mountain shocker. Erlan has Purify.
That's going to be Lure's pathway. Popped. Shaman Force under the turret. Very calm here from Erlan. Textbook Harith. As the Turtle is up still, I don't think EVOS has enough kit to contest.
Yeah. BTR now don't have Glorious Path.
Order flicker from Suelo and the Wings by Wing. So that's massive information before the Turtle. Now, Rendy holding on the river. Will disengage so far now. That's going to be the Feather Airstrike. 2, 3 man immobilization, but the damage will be enough to take Rendy down. Now EVOS, they are a man down. Shogun with the zone and the kill. And again, Bigatron striking here in the second Turtle.
Now this is the regular season BTR that we know. Love to zone, love to systematically take on neutral objectives and just delete those resources away. Albert with a rotation. Watch Shadow!
Oh, on towards Moreno. That's going to be Shadow kill. Pop. Crimson Beacon to dodge that Shadow kill. And that's going to be the Falling Storm Moon from Shogun. But a little bit too complacent there. He punishes it.
Yeah, luckily no big bounty. It wasn't like a shutdown or anything. But you don't want to be giving kills away like this, man. Now's doing a good job here, trying to pressure Albert even more. Who got the kill? Was it Key? Oh, okay, then where's Swalo? All right, take a look at the items real quick. Again, nothing too crazy. Everything quite normal. It is going to be the Hunter Strike into BOD start for Nile. It really wants a snowball. Knows that they have the ball in their court right now. They can play with it. Molten Essence, though. Classic build for Endy. As Erlan tries his best to soak in as much gold as possible to get to those item power spikes.
Keep in mind here, I feel like EVOS with their composition here, they don't mind losing the early. They have a Harriet, they have a Farsa, right? Their high ground is okay with the Hayabusa in play as well. As long as the gap isn't too massive, EVOS can take this blow. So now, Bigatron, they're looking for the initiative here with the invade. That's a stun, Law and Order with the Quad Shadow pop. That's Key trying to provide the cover. Great two-man taunt as Nile caught a little bit too lacking. Erlan from the flanks with the Shaman Force looking for an opening. Doesn't really land. Randy, looks for a gank there potentially. That's going to be Shogun here trying to distract in the mid lane. That's a stun. That's a taunt. Everything put in the kitchen sink. Shogun goes down. EVOS now looking for a trade. Key is the main target, but Key survives with 1 HP.
The timing, man, the hesitation from BTR. Fid got an amazing stun, but now was so late on the Mountain Chakra, enabled Albert to just pop the Quad Shadow in time, outplaying them and putting them in a tough spot. Great move by Key, though. That taunt was phenomenal. Landing it on Nile. But firstly, it was Swalo who got skill 1, who got the ultimate in, and it put Nile down. Now BTR still in control, but as Gani said, EVOS can just scale. They don't even care if you take this turtle.
Yeah, Bigatron, they look to apply more pressure. They want to take the turtle and the fight. AOG cancel. The Key in trouble now.
Wow.
Finally, the AOG will cast, and that's going to be no casualty for EVOS.
They gotta push in here. Solar Ruin down already. They might be looking for a time.
Law and Order. Oh, they got the structure. Randy now in the no man's land. Bigatron by Vitality. Very similar to game 1. They got the mid structure. Question is, can they convert in the mid game later on?
They just can't get through the lead that they want to, man. Every time they get a 1,000 gold lead, every time it looks close for them to get to the lead that they want, it's a turnaround by EVOS.
Oh, Feather try caught Key now. No AOG, I believe, but oh, take a look at the pull. I'm offended. That's going to be Key going down. Now Erlan, though, is free hitting as of now. Bigatron applying more pressure. Rendy is in the vicinity. Shadow kill popped. Has the Quad Shadow to go back, and Bigatron this time looks very strong.
1.2k gold lead is nowhere near enough of a lead to sustain this early game composition as of yet. EVOS are slowly but surely building towards their power spike. So the fact that they're taking these fights and it's not that bad for them means it's great. 1.6k for EVOS is kind of like EVOS having a 4,000 gold lead in the early game with an early game composition because, again, like Gani said, they're scaling. They don't need to take all these fights. They don't need to win early. All they need to do is go even. And I think as long as it's below 3k for BTR, it's not the comfortable position that you would want for BTR. Look at those items. Again, Erlan is so close from getting Holy Crystal. They have to push in the tempo, and BTR know it.
Bigatron, they look to find Randy. They got it. Nile picks up the kill. That's alarming for EVOS, but EVOS looking for some counterplay here, but seems like Bigatron, their formation is pretty tight. 2k now.
Yep.
So, Bigatron, you can see them just trying to find things around the map because we mentioned already the scaling is very scary for EVOS later on.
1k away from the comfortable lead that they would want at least by this time, right? Because again, you gotta remember, if they have a 2,000 gold lead here with the lore, they will be able to push it to 4k. EVOS are gonna try to fight this out. BTR are gonna play the macro game. They have a slow push down below, so there's literally no reason for them to go for these 50-50s. They gotta be careful of Erlan. That guy is the X factor together with Rendy in this game. If they get a huge burst of damage on the right guy, Nile, by the way, BTR will lose their glass cannon. This composition is a hyper carry Nile composition. Glorious Pathway sent down to Sway low. That's already wings by wings. Lord is low.
The low 50% indeed. Looks for an opening here. Bigatron, they keep things tight. Rendy jumps in, 3-man immobilization, and they find the collage on Rendy. Will be bursted down. EVOS, will they fight more? That's gonna be Finn being the trade. Take a look at the back. Shogun trying to distract AOG from Key defensively. Albert pops the Quad Shadow, and that's gonna be massive information. Moreno Wow, that's aggressive. Will force Erlan to use his Purify.
They baited the cycle of skills from EVOS. No Feathered Airstrike, no Shadow Kill. This should be the angle right now, but Niall and Aman are so low. Alba wants to go in. Shogun needs his zone perfectly. Key.
I'd say Albert, again, no Shadow. On, finds I'm offended on towards Swalo. That's a stun. They want to collapse again. Shadow Kill popped, and Erlan finds the kill on towards him. On! That's the burst damage that Niall can give. Key finds a shutdown, though Albert is low. Looks for Moreno, and Finn a little bit late to the party, but the Law and Order doesn't land. Albert is doing crazy work with the quad Shadow, and now Biggitron and EVOS, they will reset.
The hesitation again for BTR. Aman walked forward. They already baited this Aman force. Niall wanted to wait for the very last second. Understandable because he's low, but that will for sure be a regret for BTR. Why take the fight? Why go for the 50-50s when they had a slow lane pushing in the bottom lane that they could have pulled with all throughout the game? EVOS now, everything is under their control. The wave in the bottom lane, dealt with by Hayabusa. So even though it's not a slow push, it'll be even. They can fight on their terms.
All things back to the build-up here. You can see here, the spells are going to activate very, very soon. And I think both teams are looking for that angle, right? Waiting for the spells to activate. Conceal though, so interesting. What's the call with that conceal?
They just wanted to get space. They didn't want to give BTR room to breathe. Shogun will not pop the Falling Star, not just yet. Doesn't want to go on Key. They got to form these little leads again. That's a Sky Piercer built up for Jusin. Key fading out the Mountain Chakra already. Mid lane falling, and again, BTR utilizing the advantage that they have built for themselves in the early game. The lead is gone. I'm talking about the turret, the structural advantage. Bottom lane also slow pushing in favor of BTR so they can play it as slow as they want.
That's a stun. Albert jumps in. I'm offended. The chain crowd control is there. Rendy finds the AOG. That's going to be Rendy though. Taken down with Niall. Will fall alongside the process. That's going to be Erlan though. Looks for an angle. That's going to be Erlan now. Pushing back, disengaging. Shogun pops to Purify. Aman jumping back, but that's going to be Aman taken down. Ladies and gentlemen, Erlan picks up the double.
That's a massive double in their power spike. Erlan has all the items he needs. And again for BTR, now with the overstep, getting caught by the immobilization, it's back to back. Rendy plus AOG. In game one, it was Swalo with the follow-up. This game, it's the actual Gato Kacha, as BTR have lost all their lead. The early game looked not even too good for them. It looked decent. EVOS capitalizing. Erlan!
Not to conceal. They want to fight. Taunt. Oh, a little bit too aggressive there. Niall finds the big shutdown on towards Erlan.
What the heck? Why? Guys, you have your... Oh, man. Oh, yikes. Shogun will just open it up now. That gives BTR some more room to breathe, but it should still stick to the same thing that we talked about. The scaling is a problem. Unfortunately for EVOS, they won't be able to get much of a lead because Erlan fell through. Man, so much disrespect from Erlan there. Just play it slow, my boy. You don't need to do all that, you know? You're doing too much, and now Swalo's gonna be caught because of it.
Oh, I don't like this fight. Swalo past the flicker. Moreno. Oh, great knockup. Swalo goes down. EVOS, questionable calls here, even though they got the Lord.
Okay, that was all Erlan, like the first mistake. But why are EVOS even fighting a 4v5 when they have no damage aside from the Hayabusa? Oh, sorry, aside from the Harith in that position. Wow. You don't want to be walking up to BTR with their dive like that, especially without the Harith. The Harith is a core component in the front to back that leads up to Swalo having so much space. Without it, Swalo is a sitting duck. Both teams making some big errors here. But I think, again, it's still favorable for EVOS. They can play the long game. They can play for the waiting game. Again, though, for EVOS, luckily, the Lord is spawning in the bottom lane, right? So they will have a structural advantage up top. At least they have that. At least they still have that big power spike. They gotta stay composed, man. That's another conceal just to open up. Moreno
Ooh.
will space out of that.
Very good. Keeping his distance. Shogun spotted.
Come on. What?
Swalo caught again. Still finds the kill. That's gonna be Ma now in trouble. Take a look at immobilization and AOG. Take a look at the back. That's gonna be Shogun. First it down by Albert. Now at EVOS, they can go for this fight because Moreno is isolated and Albert says hello to double kill. Finn has immortality and will pop the glorious pathway. EVOS, wow, almost caught slack in there, but they recovered.
The game's getting even tougher now for BTR. You saw that big play. It honestly makes sense to go for it, but the damage and how split it was bad. EVOS might go for the end right here. 3 members down, Shogun will be up in 7. Gani, Erlan knows him on force, Niall's low.
Oh my goodness, they want to force Niall and Will. Down he goes. That's gonna be EVOS. Looks for an opening. Key loses immortality. Bigatron looks for some counter play, and Key will fall. 3 seconds on the clock for that Lord. And EVOS says, enough. Let's go for the Lord.
Thing is, BTR have 0 damage compared to EVOS when they have no Yi Sun-shin. So this is a net positive trade for EVOS. They got a base turret in the mid lane. That's gonna be slow pushing now as they look to control. Played slow. Niall will be up in 14. EVOS don't have what it takes to actually just blitz it right now, but they're trying all they can. Rendy in the back zoning.
Let's see Rendy trying to distract Albert, focusing on the Lord. Shogun takes a lot of teeth there and will be the first one to fall in this fight. EVOS, they got the Lord. They have Prio. This Lord might take them to match point.
I think even if it doesn't straight up give them the end, it will give them at least a far lane base turret. BTR are cooked. Their window to close out the game was early on. Their window to fully capitalize was early on with the first Lord there when they had control. But they fumbled the far lanes. They couldn't play with the macro advantage. They were too hasty. And now, again, look at those items for Erlan. Fully built up. A Lord of the mid lane. Shogun up in 7. EVOS can cycle through the death timer.
Bigatron, can they hold on? They will defend with 5 members. They will get the far lane here. Albert looks for an opening. Doesn't really land. The quad shadow Finn, though. Trying to hold on! Rendy and Key finds the combination. Down goes Rendy. Albert looking for an opening. That's gonna be EVOS now, still with the Lord, but Shogun pinning him on. It's off the board. They want the wipe out. No, they don't care. Ladies and gentlemen, the White Tigers